Greetings, Internet Drinking Buddies. My name is Link, the show's name is Tubbin and Chuggin, and on this episode, I'll be imbibing Stolichnaya. Welcome back to the tub, everybody. Now, I wanted to start a new series on this episode. We're going to be looking at basic spirits, so, your vodkas, your rums, your gins, or whatever. Nothing too special or flavored about them, but we're looking at the ones in that mid-tier price range. I'm calling this Buzz for the Buck, okay? Now, the point of this series is really going to be to determine whether the alcohol that I feel most people end up buying in that mid-tier price range is worth it. Does it justify its cost by being better than the lower tier stuff, but still cheap enough to make it palatable on a regular basis? Now, when it comes to vodka, when I think mid-tier vodka, I think of our friend here, Stolichnaya, or Stoli, one of the most common exports of the former Soviet Union that isn't a Kalashnikov. Let's take a closer look. Stolichnaya means capital city in Russian, something thereabouts. It's been produced in its home since 1938, as it says right there on the bottle. It's been distributed in the US by PepsiCo, or at least it was, until 2009, in which case a group that now manages it, the SBI group, directly managed the branding here in America. And it's made from wheat and rye grains, fermented all the way up to 96.4% alcohol by volume, which obviously gets distilled down into its bottled form of 40%. You can typically find this for around $17 for a fifth, somewhere in there, getting up to that mid-20s for a handle, which puts it pretty squarely in our mid-tier price range. Now, I have a friend who frequents Eastern Europe, and this might be his favorite vodka. I'm not quite sure. He has brought it to me quite a few times. As such, I've had it quite a few times, but I haven't had it very recently until I received this as a birthday present, so I'm looking forward to trying it here again now. As I expect should be typical of these Buzz for the Buck products, you should be able to drink it pretty much whichever way you want. Straight up, on the rocks, mixed in with something. Really just depends on what you're feeling that day. At this price point, you should be able to do pretty much whatever you want with it, and I find that to be generally true of Stoli. Now, sadly, I've never been to Eastern Europe. As a result, I do not possess a shot glass from the region. However, I do have a little bit of Cold War arcana coming from the Korean DMZ, which I visited a few years back. I figured that was the most suitable shot glass I could come up with for this episode. Now, I have the shot poured and we'll get to the toast, but before I do that, I want to make it clear that in my experience, I find there are about 3 types of people out there on this pale blue dot of ours. You've got people that really don't like vodka, people that really do like vodka, people that kind of like vodka. So whether you should pay the extra amount for Stoli over something like a Smirnoff or a New Amsterdam depends on what category you fall into, and hopefully that I can guide you on that course after the shot. So, na zdrowie. See, smooth is the word that comes to mind. It's the word I did when I did the vodka the God shot. And in this case, man, it's maybe not perfectly smooth. See, I fall into the kinda like vodka overall lifestyle choice, if you will. And when I taste this, I taste vodka, which obviously I'm supposed to, but I don't really taste a burn of any kind. The burn that I do taste, I feel, is added in to a degree, if that makes any sense. Vodka is supposed to have a kick, and so Stoli has a kick, kind of thing. You look at something like a very premium end product, like a Grey Goose or something, that's codified and taste designed in such a way to not really necessarily taste like a traditional sort of that Polish, Russian area type of the world type of vodka, whereas this one definitely is. And it's good to the point where, I've had the shot, I don't really taste a lingering burn. The initial burn is what I expect to be vodka. Maybe that's just because I've had this a lot. This does feel like home in a sense. I don't think this is a bad drink at all. But as somebody that falls into the, the kinda likes vodka territory, this is the kind of thing that I wouldn't normally pick up for myself, just because It's good, but I don't feel like I'm getting an extra value out of it that somebody that really would like vodka would. It's the kind of thing where if you have the opportunity to, given the circumstances, you might not have the opportunity right now to go try out a shot at a bar and compare that to something that you've had before, and you'll get a better idea of whether that's more for you, whether that it's worth it for you. If you don't like vodka at all, like if you're somebody that really doesn't like it, I really can't justify trying to spend more on this particular type of vodka, because this is likely going to be a little bit better than the vodkas you've had before. Maybe you try something like a Grey Goose that's completely different in a way that makes you appreciate that very premium end product. But in this case, for Stoli, if you don't like vodka, I don't think you're gonna like Stoli. Now, what if you really, really like vodka? Like you have a favorite vodka picked out, or you like to sample different vodkas? Well, then this is a solid choice to me. This is a, uh-oh, we got a bug in here. It's going out to the light. I guess that's a moth. Anyway, sorry about that. Well, what I was saying is that if you really like vodka, then there's a very good chance, in my opinion, that you really like Stoli. Now, maybe you really like a specific type of vodka, and anything that tastes different than that you just don't like, and that's fair. It's it's fine to have a preference for a specific type of drink. But if you like the category of vodka, I would highly recommend Stoli as just a solid tier choice for you. Now, what I'm gonna do is pour myself maybe another half shot and just kind of sip on it, just to see if too much of a good thing is what's negatively impacting my overall opinion of it. Give it a shot. Half shot. No, it's not really any different. I think when you get to a level of alcohol like this, you're going to find that just merely sipping on it, like I would do for like the Tennessee apple, for example, kind of releases those toxins, if you will, in a more gradual way, which allows you to more steadily digest it. Whereas something like this, the taste is there. Drinking a mouthful of it really doesn't taste a hell of a lot different than just sipping on it. So if you like just kind of slowly enjoying your drink, you can have it that way. If you like just getting drunk and you just want to do shots of it, you can have it that way. Mixing it in my opinion, is kind of going to be you're always going to lose value on those from what I can see. I always like to just throw the cheap vodkas into the mixed drinks, but if you really like Stoli, if you really like vodka overall, it's possible you have a mixed drink with a Smirnoff or something, you're like, no, it doesn't taste good, but that's obviously going to be on you. Yeah, no, still pretty good. Just to summarize, if you have never had a vodka you've liked before, don't really expect Stoli to be the vodka for you. But if you do like vodka, or you've had a vodka or two that you've liked, I think this is a very good value at the point where you have to determine whether or not you think it's good enough versus the budget. In my opinion, it's not quite there just because I don't really like vodka all that much. But if you've had Smirnoff and you're like, man, there's something to this, try out the better option. I do think Stoli is very clearly better than a Smirnoff or something like that. So give it a try. And obviously, if you love vodka, you probably know exactly what you're doing with this. As always, let me know if there's an additional one of these mid-tier buzz for the buck alcohols you'd like me to try in that sort of interesting price range. I think Mount Gay would be a good one as a rum choice to go for. But until next time, please drink responsibly.